The next significant new slap was June the 17th, 18th, where we didn't make any specific forecasts to this month about China, but in that time, June the 17th, 18th, there were devastating floods and many people killed in South China, confirming our extreme events. There were also some other lesser things around the world which we had predicted anyway. The last event period is June the 21st to 23rd, where we said there would be big tornado thunderstorm developments in quite a wide area of the USA, including southern Great Lakes and more central parts. And in that time, there was serious tornadoes in Wisconsin and a record-breaking tornado in Montana where the stadium at Billing was destroyed. Now, these events are very significant. They're not run-of-the-mill extreme events. But there will be more of these type of deluges and extreme thunderstorms and tornado type events around the world during July and August, and we will predict many of these, and come onto our website to see that. Now, tropical storms, though, are only partly related to these events, and you can have tropical storm developments at the same time as these events, but just because you've got an extreme slap of the types I mentioned, it doesn't always mean there will be tropical storms. Now, in terms of tropical storms so far this year, we're very pleased with the fact that at the end of June, we correctly predicted those events which took place then from a long time ahead. Namely, we predicted the first tropical storm for the season in the northern Indian Ocean, and it was a landfall as predicted. And we also predicted when the first East Pacific tropical storm would take place, and it was also a landfall as predicted. In terms of Atlantic tropical storms, we predicted that the first Atlantic tropical region storm would be, when it took place, in fact, but it didn't happen in the Gulf, it happened in the Atlantic and headed towards the Caribbean. And we had thought there would be a formation in Caribbean or Gulf. So we were not right about the position, but we were correct about the time of the formation. Although that thing did not develop into a storm, it developed into just a quite important thundery deluge region, which was recorded as an investigation period by the Hurricane Monitoring Center. So we've got just like half a success, so I suppose we could say we've scored 2.5 out of 3 for the first storms in these regions. Now, for July, what we're expecting is there will be only 2 Atlantic region tropical storms forming, and there will be 3 East Pacific storms forming during July. Now, the Atlantic ones, the first one we expect to form will be about 9th to 11th, although of course there could also be a development at the end of June carrying on into July, which is still to come and is in our forecast. But for July itself, 9th to 11th, something forming in Gulf of Mexico, probably eastern parts of Gulf of Mexico, with a likely landfall in eastern Gulf parts or Florida. And the 18th to 20th is the next period. We're expecting something likely to form in the Caribbean and head into the Gulf. But that is all we expect from the Atlantic region during July. For the East Pacific, we're expecting a Mexico landfall type event around 9th to 11th to form and subsequently make a hit. And then 2 more in late July, a sort of double period, 24th to 26th, 25th to 27th, something like that. But those 2, there'll be 2 likely to form in the East Pacific, but they'll be tracking westwards and unlikely to make landfall. Okay, now this is quite an interesting point that there haven't been very many tropical storms in the Atlantic so far. And it seems to us to be unlikely, very unlikely, that these claims that we're going to have a record Atlantic tropical storm formation season, we think those prognoses by others are incorrect. We will put out a fuller forecast for the whole of the season for the Atlantic and East Pacific regions in due course. And come onto our website for that, www.weatheraction.com. Thank you.